Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am LL, and today we're going to be doing a stream on Starknet, how to basically be there for the upcoming speculated airdrop. Obviously, we did one stream on Arbitrum, I think in February, or was it in halfway March? I can't remember at this point, but anyhow, we are going to be doing more of these probably in the future. And if you are watching this non-live, there is going to be timestamps added into the video, so you can basically browse through into the certain segments of what we're going to be obviously doing. And as we are progressing throughout the video or the stream, we are obviously going to be, or I am going to be obviously answering some questions in case people have some. And obviously the people in the stream can also suggest certain protocols and things to basically interact with in order to be eligible for Starknet. So I guess we should probably just a very quick rundown. What is Starknet? So it's basically a layer 2 solution. It is an EVM fork, just like a lot of the other ones that we have seen in the past. There's nothing really super proprietary about Starknet, but it's definitely one of those that have been speculated to basically have their airdrop. I was able to find an article that they have already committed to basically dropping out tokens to the developers in numerous different dApps that are currently available on Starknet. Now, people who are wondering, is this going to be as large as Arbitrum? And the answer to that question is no, it is not going to be as same value as Arbitrum, but that doesn't mean that it won't have like significant value, that we can still talk about a 4-digit airdrop for many people out there. So it is just not fundamentally like something like insignificant. This is still going to be one of the larger airdrops, and I will be explaining a bit about in this beginning why do I think basically it will be not the same value as Arbitrum. I think when we actually go into the coin market cap, so here we can actually see some current where we are at the markets right now, and obviously the current tokens on the top. And the main competitors for the Starknet is, let me see where they at. Have they fallen down? So Arbitrum is the first one. So this is basically, after Binance Smart Chain, basically the biggest layer 2 chain that has emerged recently. And well, obviously there's Polygon and things like that. But Arbitrum was obviously very huge. And the reason why it was huge, because there was large VCs behind it. And then there was obviously, the TVL was very high. And we're going to be looking into the TVL of the Starknet right now. And the second token that is very similar is Optimism. So these are positions 66 and 40. And those are probably the biggest and the most realistic comparisons that we can make with Starknet as a project. But I think fundamentally, in terms of like interest and the community size and the social media things, Starknet is going to be valued under these two projects. So, I remember on the Arbitrum launch, guys, like there were people who bought Arbitrum literally at Bybit. Somebody bought it at $120 or $116. It was crazy. Some people were trading at $15. And when you actually like contrasted that into the actual market cap, it just doesn't make any sense. So when you are buying things, you always have to adjust it into the total market cap, the total supply of the token. So I haven't looked into the exact tokenomics of the thing, and those are not even revealed. So maybe there will be another price prediction video coming out in the future. But I think it's time to start slowly jumping into what we're going to be doing here. Enough for the nonsense. But the last thing I want to talk about here is the Starknet is rank 70 in terms of total value locked. Only $6 million are locked in at the moment on the ecosystem, and there's so many projects which have so much more in their things. And there's like obviously Arbitrum at number 4 and Optimism number 6. And Arbitrum had a really nice gains once the token launched, and even before the token launched, Arbitrum had a very, very high TVL. And TVL is one significance of the valuation for the token. And I think it's been historically like a very, very good indicator. One of the things, obviously, with Arbitrum is that it has inflating supply. I don't know if that is going to be the case with the Starknet token, so that could also play a part. If it's deflating like Avalanche, that could be seen as a more of a bullish valuation for its token, but I don't really see myself holding out the Starknet for a very long-term period. I don't necessarily really see it as competing with the current top 10. So, what are the first things we're going to be doing here is obviously bridging out the tokens. The bridge is probably going to be the number one indicator of like an airdrop qualification. That was with Arbitrum, that was with Optimism, that was with a lot of different things. And there's many, like I've seen, before I did this video or this stream today, I was looking into a lot of people's other articles and videos, how they thought about which are going to be the main criteria. And there were a lot of good pointers out there. But there are a lot of things that people didn't mention, which we are going to be touching upon. And the first thing we're going to be doing is bridging. And this is going to be done through the Stargate. And there are other bridges, but this is going to be probably, I'm going to post this on the chat so people watching the VOD or anything can basically see it. And this is going to be basically, I think, the most important thing. And I think there might be some type of requirement, like people might say that, or the requirements may say, bridged at least 3 times or bridged at certain valuation. So let's say at least 0.1 Ethereum bridged into the Starknet. So Starknet obviously uses Ethereum for gas. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be connecting our Ethereum wallet and the Starknet wallet. So Starknet, as of right now, is not supported on your MetaMask, guys. So you need to download either of 2 different options. We have Bravos, which I actually recommend for the sake of this video. If you're going to be doing multiple accounts, you're going to be going that crazy route, which might get you disqualified in case they're going to find you out. I recommend getting both of these wallets. On other tries, you're going to be using Bravos, and the other one are going to be using the Argent X. And we have actually talked about Argent X in the past in the channel. It was actually a 1 qualifier. I think for Hop Protocol, it was one of those things, and I had been using Argent X for a very long time. And for that reason, I was actually eligible in the past for another airdrop associated with Argent X. And basically, they are... both are good options, but maybe Bravos is much more easier to use. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be connecting our Ethereum wallet here through MetaMask. So we'll be needing both. And you're going to be connecting the Starknet wallet. And these should be automatically, well, I mean, obviously, because I've already logged in with this computer, this browser. So it's going to be automatically having these things. So make sure you're going to be on the Ethereum mainnet. And you're going to be having the account, which you're going to be using to transfer your Ethereum into the Starknet. And then on the Bravos wallet, you have the actual assigned, and you can build multiple accounts here already, which is actually very convenient. So I don't need to like download multiple wallets. I can just use these, so I can generate like new accounts without creating new seed phrases. So I'm going to be putting out 0.1 because I think that's usually a good indicator for the actual valuation. And this is probably going to be taking out. Okay, the gas is really busy right now, so just my luck. Usually, based on what I did it yesterday, it was at $6. So, and this might take up to 30 minutes, and this might be a good time to take some Q&A. So if people on the stream watching have any questions, now is a good time to basically ask anything. And yeah, so the first thing we're going to be obviously doing is the bridging. This is the most, there is other bridging methods, but I don't think those are going to be very important in the qualification because the Stargate is made by the Starknet team. And for that reason, it's going to be the most important one. And this basically, I think it supports actually a couple of different blockchains. So you don't even need to change it from Ethereum. Actually, this is something we could have done. So if you have money on Arbitrum, Polygon, Optimism, or whatever these other chains. Arbitrum Finance, we're going to be talking about later on the stream. And there's even a fiat ramp here. So banks and ramp are available in case you just don't want to. And even exchange as well. So this is actually like pretty high-end bridging mechanism. And as far as I know, they don't take any like cuts cuts on the side. And let's actually go into seeing out. Are the transactions going through? I don't actually like this interface too much. And here we have our money. $8 was the fee. It showed out $14, but you know, you can wait. You don't have to do the transactions at the same time if you're watching on stream. We're obviously going to be you always have, the time is on your side. Technically, we don't know when is the cutoff date going to happen. Like last time when we did the Arbitrum stream, it was 10 days off, and I really felt bad about it. Because so many people missed on the airdrop because they got into it too late. Then again, I did talk about it many times. And yeah, I planned to also do the Stargate video, Starknet video much earlier, but I just had so many errands and new websites and everything. So that has been a problem. Let's see, actually, have the money arrived? Not yet. And also, what I wanted to do was Sui. But the problem with Sui was the fact that they actually announced that there will be no airdrop and they're going to be doing a sale instead, excluding North American regions. So there's not really much to do in the Sui ecosystem, but then again, some of the other DeFi applications in Sui might make you eligible for the sale or some tokens launching on these protocols. And the same thing we're going to be doing here today is when we're interacting with dApps, we're not just interacting for a chance to get eligible for the Starknet token, but also for these DEX tokens and the DeFi tokens that these other protocols might be launching. So for example, when I got the Optimism airdrop, I also was eligible for the Velodrome airdrop. So if you were eligible for this, you might be eligible for that too. And the same applied also for Arbitrum. There was another drop that Arbitrum airdrop receivers only also got. So even if we would technically be late from the Starknet airdrop, it doesn't mean that you're going to be late for all the other DEX protocols that there are in the Starknet. And obviously there are a lot of other videos and people who have interacted with Starknet already much before. And so we don't know the criteria, but we're going to be obviously assuming a lot of things. So I already said 0.1 Ethereum or maybe $100 is probably going to be a good indicator at minimum. And maybe also like some people might have withdrawn their tokens out from the net, and they might have these types of criteria in the future, like a rich list. So people who have a balances under $500 might not be eligible for anything because they have to game out the system somehow, so people are not able to farm out these airdrops. I mean, the article, which I didn't actually show, there was one guy that made $2.8 million in tokens. Or, I mean, well, he made like millions in terms of like, I think there's two people who made significant amount of money in Arbitrum because Arbitrum really didn't have any type of system to basically disqualify people for farming out. And just like people could have like send only like $10 into the Arbitrum account and then do like random 20 transactions with it, like send it between two different accounts or do swaps between each other or etc. So there's that problem. Whereas, so that's something you want to avoid. And it's not very popular to do that rich list type of thing, but I definitely think that they have to do these types of things. And because what happens is that if the criteria is not strict, people will just like dump in the very beginning, and it's like millions of tokens are being dumped. And Guts to the stream, welcome. Let's go back into the bridge here. Let's try to refresh and see whatever the transaction has gone through. I did talk about 30. Okay, we have gone through. With Arbitrum, it was like 30 minutes. And welcome Arvid to the stream as well. So now we have actually bridged out the 0.1 Ethereum into the network, and now we're going to be doing all of these types of tasks and let me actually see from my tab which ones we're going to be doing. So as a bit of a side rail here before we start interacting is that there is a possibility that people who actually run nodes might also get rewarded in tokens. And in this Nodes Guru website, I'm guessing there's a couple of these types of websites. And so there's a bit of a guide, basically what you're needing. So 4 CPUs, 4 gigabytes of RAM, not very much. Storage, 500 gigs, which is actually quite a lot. And there's a bit of a guide. It didn't seem too hard. I mean, for non-coders, it might seem a bit hard, but there might be some processes which are going to be like allowing you to do it much more simpler. But there isn't really that many steps here to basically set it up. So I just recommend like Googling how to set out Starknet node. Now, historically, not all the node holders, I know not in Sui, people are getting money for actually setting up nodes, but the nodes are kind of like, I haven't just really bothered to do it. I think this has been like too much of a hassle, and I don't really want extra shit on my computer, security reasons and stuff like that. So I understand if people are not going to be doing, but this was something that nobody really talked about on these other videos, and that's why it's really great you're watching my video and not somebody else's, because I'm only like breaking down all of these points which could be possible criteria. Like nodes are obvious thing, and nobody else has talked about this. Other thing that nobody talked about was actually also the testnet. So there is the Goerli testnet here on, this is not something I'd recommend, but the Starknet has its own testnets on Bravos once you open it up. There is the Starknet Goerli and Starknet Goerli 2 and DevNet. In case there's going to be some, I know there's a couple of faucets out there. There are a couple of things you can actually do to basically interact with these three. And those might be eligible for some type of things, but sometimes, not always, but testnets are obviously like very easy to abuse because it doesn't actually cost anything, but that has been criteria in the past. So if you want to be sure about it, you can make some transaction on those testnets. Now let's jump into the AMMs. So there's three major AMMs on Starknet right now. You have the jediswap, you have myswap, and you have the 10k swap. I'm going to be adding all of these links once again into the chat, and we are going to be going one by one. One of the things that Arbitrum used was actually as a criteria having a trading volume. I think they had a 10,000 or was it 5,000 volume. So I mean, you could technically go trades back and forth and make a volume of $1,000 in some of these exchanges. Sometimes providing liquidity worth of $1,000 might be eligibility and everything like that. So just saying. And I think I'm most bullish on the jediswap. I'm a Star Wars fan, so that's automatically why I'm interested in it. And we're going to be using the Bravos to basically log in here. I have to say the Bravos is actually pretty nice. Now I'm going to be doing just the back and forth trade here. I'm going to add enough of volume so there's not some type of microtransaction here. We're going to be doing USDC, and then I'm going to be swapping it back, confirming swap, sign, and oh yeah, so there's some like transaction you have to do on the chain to basically like make it go through or something with the Starknet. I don't know what exactly makes their technology different from MetaMask not be able to basically support the actual thing. So I don't actually know what's the reason for that. And I'm gonna refresh now in case the balances are not showing up. And we're gonna be changing, we bought USDC I think, and it's still pending. So let's see the transaction here on StarkScan. Received, I think in 1 minute. That's not very fast. And fees, well, we have to transact that later. I don't know why they don't use the Etherscan fork. I just find it just much more better. Like Block Scout and everything else that I've used are just like, just don't have enough information really. It's just like, these things have to be easy to read. So you can do swaps like I did, and this might make us eligible for the jediswap airdrop and also for the chain itself. As the transaction is going through, I'm going to take a couple of things here, which are something I mentioned on the Arbitrum stream. You want to have a minimum of 20 transactions on the Starknet chain. That doesn't count, well, you can see it on the actual Explorer, how many transactions you have done. And at the end of the stream, we're going to be watching actually like how many we have done. Let me actually open it up so we can see. So 20 transactions is our goal. You might want to go for 25. Why does it actually allow us to see my... There we go. This is my account. Can I actually see? There's 2 transactions here. Okay, so we are already like, it's still not pending on the actual deployment on the chain. So this is something we should have done in the very beginning. I totally forgot that because it's been a while since I've used Starknet. So let me drink some water. Another thing a lot of these farmers do is that they do all the transactions like on a one day. So they bridge the assets, do swaps, blah, blah, blah. And everything that they do is, like, let's say they do 20 transactions, but they do all the 20 transactions in Monday, which is today. So that might be ineligible. It was for Arbitrum, it was for Optimism. They gave out some really, really nice multipliers that if you are using just 1 week of the mainnet, that was a negative criteria. So if you're returning next week to do more transactions, like let's say you're going to be interacting with some type of yield farming protocol, you can go claim every day from that yield farm if you want to. And that's something I definitely would want to do if I'm going to be finding something on the Starknet chain, because that's going to be great for the eligibility, because you're going to be seeing as active for multiple times of days and multiple weeks. So that's probably going to be one criteria that they're going to be using. And I think especially after the Arbitrum airdrop, I think a lot more projects are going to be a lot more smarter about the distribution model. So they're not going to be doing these same mistakes. I'm not saying that Arbitrum was like a failure of an airdrop, but you know, like once one person like literally gets like 100 accounts eligible, like that's a pretty like a red signal, you know, like I wonder like how much the price really dumped because of that one person. Like realistically, like if he hadn't had that massive sell pressure, would have things actually changed a bit. And those types of, you know, and there's going to be a lot of that in StarkScan. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of these very nuanced farmers out there which are going to be doing these things quite fast. I think I read something about this, but okay, yes. So we have actually gone through the transactions, and now we have the USDC. And actually, I'm going to pull out, we're going to add liquidity, we're going to add a bit of the USDC, just a small amount here. I'm going to put $5. It might be a criteria reason. The period for how long, $1 to add fees. Okay, this is not actually going to be very cheap to use it, so you got to be really careful with your money. So adding out bit of this liquidity there, and the time span of how long that liquidity has been there might be a criteria for the jediswap airdrop. Now I don't need the rest of the USDC here, so I'm just going to be still not updated with the real numbers. Well, whatever. It will do this after we have gone through the other transaction. So they're going to be obviously lined up with each other. So we're going to be swapping the USDC back. And then we can actually, well, let's actually also look into the Zap feature. So yeah, so you can also use the Zap feature to basically turn your tokens into LPs, which is actually quite convenient. And here's a bit of a dashboard here. Okay, there's a lot of volume here on these days, so I wonder what's up in there. What's going on? Is more people farming now, and or what? Not much of liquidity here actually, so we're kind of early, so that's good. I think that's it for the jediswap. Obviously, are those transactions really still not gone through? Well, it's going to be a bit longer stream, I guess, because we have to get these transactions through. I'm not sure I'm going to be doing all the 3 exchanges. I think we're going to take a quick look at them and see what they are all about. And I think all of them don't have tokens yet, so we're in a good position. I think it's a very ideal position to start. And I don't think the drop is going to happen this month. It might, something is going to happen on summer. Summer is like going to be the whole DeFi summer. Okay, that got rejected here. I don't know in which order these transactions are actually going through right now, because Okay, let's try again. Yeah, there we go. Confirming the swap. It's $1, almost $1 to basically swap. I wonder actually what it is in Arbitrum and Optimism, but this is kind of the problem of these layer 2s, because they want to use Ethereum for the gas fees, but even with these scaling solutions, long as the Ethereum price goes up, let's say it's going to go back to the, this is like a Steelman argument, so $4, 4K was the, or was it actually 5K? Some 4.6K would have been the valuation at the previous peak, which we're going to be bypassing now because of the triple halving and everything. Ethereum is still undervalued, in my opinion, especially with the deflation. So we are talking about here like that normal swap would be 4 times that price, plus the increased gas fees. As the airdrop will happen on Starknet, it is going to be adapting new users. There's going to be a new user base there building out stuff. Though that's going to be the traditional amount of transactions that are happening in the current mainnet are going to be going twofold or something. So that would be around maybe $8 to transfer out between the two tokens. So that's not very cheap. So I am a bit skeptical about this approach of using the Ethereum as the token. I kind of like what the Gnosis chain is doing with using the DAI as the transaction thing, because it's a stable coin of $1. $1 is becoming more cheaper, as we know. So that's also a great indicator for like maybe more cheap things. But this Ethereum as a gas fee obviously builds out incentive for the valuation of Ethereum. But I think maybe one of these chains should just use like their own governance token as for gas fees as well. But you know, whatever. Okay, so I think we have now the pool transaction went through. Our share of the pool is like absolutely minimal. We could have put out $10, but whatever. Because this is still like, there's still risk like these exploits happen. SushiSwap just were hacked. I did a video just a while ago about revoking access into things. Let's actually see if Revoke Cache actually has support for Starknet. No, it does not. So I actually have no idea how I would go about changing out the fucking Starknet thing. Well, meanwhile, the transactions are going through. We're going to be looking into myswap. And by the way, it's also kind of like if people are not going to be interacting with all of these 3 swap things, you have to also guess like which ones are going to be coming out top. There's not going to be like this coexistence of multiple swapping. When Binance Smart Chain launched, it had the Pancake swap, and there was like a Burger swap, and then there was like a couple of others. There was like a big battle, but Pancake swap ultimately came on top. Like there was so many of those swapping sites in the launch, but there's not going to be that many on. Yeah, I wouldn't bet on. jediswap seems to have most amount of features out of these 3. But if you're going to be doing multi-account, you can use one account with one of these exchanges and one with the other. So I would say probably 10K. Because I have all the same tokens available. Okay. So moving on. Now we are going to be setting out an ID. Historically, when we look at the data, not all, but pretty much every single one of these domain sites have done an airdrop. We had the ENS, we have the space ID. Tezos Domains is going to be doing one in the future. They have announced it. I'm missing something right now. Bonafide, well, whatever. Like these are going to be really important. So they're always going to have some type of token airdrop. And we're going to be doing our Starknet ID. And I actually might have done one of these like very much ages ago. So we're going to be launching this, connecting Bravo. So apparently they don't support Argent X. Shame. So this is kind of bad for the thing. And I don't know what I will be choosing. I'm just going to be choosing something very random. Okay, this is the price, so 0.01 basically. What if I put out like a very long name? Is that going to be okay? So what about... Okay, so shorted letters, the price goes down. Yeah, so the 3 and 4 letter domains are gonna be where the value is. Netflix is not available. I sometimes just look into these things like, okay, buyer base available. Somebody in the stream can take that one. Usually people take out these Microsofts and you know, big companies. Tesla is always taken. I mean, I don't know, like... This is not even available. Okay, what else we could choose? So a lot of things have been actually like reserved. Yeah, use OpenAI. This is just names. Well, that's something you can use. So ChatGPT and whatever. I'm just like looking literally at my what are the Stark family? Okay, this pretty much like everything is taken out, but so I'm just gonna be just I'm just gonna go with the buyer pay. And then register. I'm just gonna take a 1 year, okay? There can be an argument to be made that taking multiple years is gonna be changing out the value of the drop, just saying. So let me move this here so everybody can see. Sign it up. Should be $1 transaction. And apparently this is already used by a couple of things. There's going to be an NFT marketplace, which we're going to be talking about next. And then the last segment is going to be focusing on DeFi. And I don't actually... drinking the wrong thought. I don't know if the what was I about to say? I don't know actually if this is by the official team or anything. And there's also a testnet function here, so in case people are going to be doing transactions on testnet, you have also that option. Let's look into our status here. We have done 4 transactions. And the 5th one is in the making. So I'm probably not going to be the amount of things we're going to be doing here. Oh shit, yeah, good I actually opened this up. So one of the things nobody talked about, that there is an inbuilt swap here in the Bravos wallet. And actually doing a transaction here, I don't know if this is an aggregator or is this their own swapping thing, but do swaps here as well, because Bravos might launch their own governance token. And this is actually really good because there's an NFT wallet here and the same. And then there's also a dApp list, which goes into a lot of things, which we have already gone through. A couple of these, we're going to be talking about Aspect and mintsquare in a second. And there's a couple of other ones here. jediswap and Almanac I know about. So, worth looking into, yeah. Let me actually... It's interesting that it's not showing out the pending things here. It shows our tokens, okay, so that's an LP token, not even symbols. There might be another explorer out there which was listed in some of these things. So while we wait, where's the main page? There is a list of dApps in the website. So this is the starknet ecosystem.com. Let's post this to the chat. So there's over 100 dApps here. Some of them are not fully integrated. Some of them are still making things. Some API. Not all of these are like things you can interact with or things that will have their own tokens. Some of them are just like underlying open source technology like Optibara. This was interesting. This is like a streaming technology, but they don't have their own streaming platform. It's basically an API. It's using multiple blockchains. And yeah, as you can see, that there's a lot of different things in here. Some of them are very unique, and some of them only operate on the Starknet chain as of right now. Some of them might be on testnet, Saddle Finance. That's I actually received that airdrop. So if you really want to go ham, you can go looking into all of these things and choose which ones you're going to be. Is this? We should look into that. Choose which ones you're going to be interacting with in exchange for a possible airdrop or a possible qualification for the airdrop. Okay, this is the actual thing. Let's look how does our wallet actually look in this website. Okay, this doesn't. What? I can't actually search by account? No, I can. Okay, we have reserved our Starknet ID now. So it's Pirate-based Stark. Let me open that. Domains. Identities. Gonna switch out the connecting here. Okay, so AdBlock was blocking that, just so you know. So if you're using Brave, make sure to. And this icon over here, on the wallet actually shows us how many transactions are pending. So that's kind of cool. So right now we have what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, basically 6 or 7 transactions. So 20 is that goal. Yeah, I might look into those. At least it does not stop like Solana. Well, it's kind of sad in this state with Solana got into, but I think Solana is going to be really phased out. I think a lot of developers have bailed out, and I don't think it's going to be going anywhere specific. So this is important because sometimes in these blockchains, you can own a domain, but that doesn't mean that that domain that you own is actually attached to your account. So when people are doing payments, even if they send to that domain may not be assigned into your Starknet address. So I don't know how it works on Starknet, but that's something I think this identities things is doing right now, is that it's assigning the domain into this account so I can use. So in case you want to send me some tips right now, send them to piratebay.stark if you're watching. And especially if you are going to be getting out this airdrop, you should send me a tip. Or you can join in the YouTube and become part of the Liger pack members. You will get a cool emblem and you get exclusive emojis, and you also get a Discord special title for a lifetime. So even if you get subscribed only for a month, you can get this special title on Discord. Okay, let's actually see. What happens if we actually type in this? It says unavailable. Points to. Yeah, so apparently we don't need to see owner's identity. So I guess we can like see. Okay. Well, it's an alpha thing, so I guess it's not really working out, but it's definitely has assigned us the actual thing. So now we can move into the next segment here. We have the aspect NFT marketplace. There's actually 2 of these NFT marketplaces. There's always these sort of commemorative NFTs which have been launched on many blockchains, and I always thought that some of them are going to be criterias, and so far they really haven't, outside from Aptos. But who knows, this time we might be different. So we can go to a profile, and here I can see my Starknet ID. You also get these cool looking things. These are same things that they used on Nimic. These might be a bit different though. This looks a bit different. And it doesn't actually say the name here at any point. But whatever, we have now the thing. And we can actually look at some of these collections. So we have mintsquare. Some people have generated AI art. People have been selling them. I've been playing a lot with Midjourney recently. And let's see if we can actually filter by low price. So I'm just gonna support it right now. Probably didn't even do this art himself, but whatever. This is a dollar transaction, so I'm just gonna do something. Technically, you could just create your own NFTs and sell them to your own accounts. That's actually ironically the best way to go about this, but whatever. I might do. I'm not gonna do this on stream because I'm not gonna make this a million hour stream, but basically, why do I have 2 of these now? Did we just create 2 IDs by accident? Well, whatever. Okay. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, Cairo seems to be some type of update on the chain. I'm not really sure about it, but I don't really much have else to add about this. Maybe if there's going to be a button to mint NFTs here, mint 1 NFT and then buy and sell 1 as well. That might be criteria. Then there is the another platform called the mintsquare. How many hours actually? Let's see. Okay, we're 50 minutes in. I think the last stream was like an hour or something. We're pretty much on the end part, guys, so not much to go. Yeah, and same things applying here. Here we can actually generate NFTs. There's this briq project, which seems to be like a metaverse thing. Seems to be kind of like the most valued project right now. So if you're looking for like a blue chip on Starknet, it's probably this briq thing. Are these the same looking? Yeah, they actually are. And then there's Stark Punks. It's always a Punks collection. These actually don't look too bad. They look very similar to the ones that we had in Terra. And Star Rock Galactic Punks, yeah, that's what they call it. Okay. And just don't ape in, because sometimes, you know, guys, some of this shit might be just like trash wash trading. There might be some decent flips available. And I don't, by the way, think you can be eligible for Starknet IDs. I don't think the eligibility is going to be like just by owning one. So I'm gonna actually place a bid. And bidding might be, I don't know if there's a buy now buttons on some of these, but okay, this is expiring on July 11th, so this is not like, I'm probably just gonna be instantly trying to flip it over just to get like some transactions through. So maybe like 5 to 10 transactions on these NFT marketplaces basically. And there doesn't seem to be anything like outside from the IDs that I see like as value or something very official. And we actually could look into yeah, so Zealy, which used to be known as Crew 3. Am I on the right side? I'm just like a bit worried about this is not some scam. That's actually, that was probably a scam website, guys. Glad I didn't actually, no. Okay. They have gone through rebranding, so it's official. So doing all the tasks in here on we have to go back pedal here again. God damn it. Okay, let me link this. So yeah, do these. There isn't really many. Seems to be like 5 or 6. And usually there are a couple of these. Actually, let me put out the invite link there for you guys. Use that instead. How can I actually remove this message? There we go. So there are Crew 3, the Quest platform, and I don't know if Starknet is using all of these. Usually they just use one. So what you want to do is just do these quests, and you might be eligible for things in later. I think Zealy themselves might do an airdrop in the future, so that's something also worth entertaining just because of that. And these are just usually social media tasks, so they're not really. Let's just authorize the app and let's do a couple of transactions here. Claim reward. Oh yeah, and we need to follow it as well. 70k followers. Not really that much. Not that much. Okay, ZKX, actually we're going to be talking about that in the last and the next segment. Okay, let me see this shit. Is this still the transaction going through? Gonna make this at 8. This is our bid that we're gonna be making here. And obviously I'm gonna do more transactions outside of this stream because I'm gonna be doing many of them like, next week and this week and, next month until we're gonna be getting the announcement basically. So that's my plan here. That's my game plan to get eligible And I wouldn't really swap, by the way, like if you have 3 accounts which you're trying to do the tasks on, do not change money between those accounts on the Starknet, not necessarily even on. Not even on like on the mainnet Ethereum. So move money to an exchange and then withdraw from that exchange account separately to these other accounts. Okay, that's it for that. And then there are, well, there's the briq thing. We're not gonna do any transactions here. I'm just gonna take a quick look at it inside. What does the platform look like? Seems to be some card-rich thing. I don't know what. Maybe some other wallet. My profile. Let's see if there's something to do here. Boxes, booklets, themes. So all have been sold. So there's some bullish element for this Starknet stuff. Okay. Then there are a couple of DeFi applications, like I think we got 3 here. The first one is called Nostra Finance. And they are doing native stablecoin called Uno. And there's a roadmap here. Mainnet launch, swap mainnet. Is this 23? Yeah. Okay, so good. And now we get into the they are under audit, so okay guys, I'm not actually going to be doing transactions because I am slightly paranoid about this audit stuff. But this is kind of like a lending platform. I might actually trade in some of these exchanges, so what we're going to do is I'm going to use the swapping functionality here to get some USDT. I want $5. I'm going to issue a swap, and then I'm going to be providing that $5 into the Nostra Finance DeFi. Because it's better to actually like have more like isolated tokens. So if you give rights to use the USDT, it doesn't get access to your Ethereum, for instance. So if the exploit happens, I only lose the $5 and it doesn't have access to my Ethereum. So that's one way you can mitigate the risk. And the other platforms we're going to be looking is zklend and zkx.fi. This would be so much faster stream if the transactions actually went through faster. So let's see a bit of the analytics here, so you can see there's a lot more money coming in here. It's been 1 month old, or actually more than that, so it has gone basically 10x in 3 months. So more and more people are interacting with Starknet, and it definitely shows. Do I have to actually approve anything here? Yeah, I do. So enable lending, enable collateral. Usually I don't do the collateral thing because I'm not going to be borrowing. Some people do that borrowing, withdrawing thing. I think there's just a lot more attack vectors and possibility for you to lose more money. So that's why I'm usually not doing it. And I don't like to have those type of positions because they're not like, we have to pay attention to that stuff. But if you're very experienced with it, and you gotta have time to actually look into your positions, like that's not a problem. And obviously when the yield farming kicks in, that's gonna be the option. So let's see how long this is gonna be taking to get the transaction due. Okay, the USDT has gone through. It's not showing here. So let's see. Max, decline, deposit. Should be probably $1. Okay, a bit more than that. And this is, by the way, the estimate fee. It doesn't mean that the actual fee is going to be that. I don't want to go into CoinMarketCap and, make the calculations, but whatever. And the lending API is 0.15%, so you're not going to get rich with this. This is just only for the transaction, having to show I'm doing stuff on the chain, and also that this might be an eligibility thing for the Nostra finance. But usually with these lending protocols is that they don't do an airdrop, they just like enable yield farming, which makes sense, but then again, like it doesn't really benefit a lot of the early users outside from the lending APY that you can get. But the ultimately, like, I'm losing more here on the fees that I'm ever going to be getting in terms of the APY here. So there's that. And I guess with these, like, there's two lending protocols, obviously. So there's the zklend. Let me see if this actually has launched. This is testnet. Apollo is coming soon. Seems like they are actually like, there was okay, so this is testnet, so we're not going to be doing anything here, but once they're going to be launching their main thing, we definitely want to actually provide stuff here. 150% APY on Ethereum. Okay, these are just like some made up mock-up numbers. That can't be true. And then we had, okay, then we had the ZKX. This one also is testnet stuff. I'm probably going to be post-stream editing out some type of a link for a testnet faucet if I'm able to going to be finding one. But I would probably do some stuff here. I think the Zigzag had testnet rewards. And there was something else too. But yeah, I don't have any money. So the very last thing here. Very last thing is the Arbiter Finance. This is a bridge, which might do their own token as well, FYI. I'm gonna go back into our MetaMask and change the Ethereum mainnet. So what we're gonna be doing with this is basically just sending out the money back into some other chain. So Starknet. Connecting Bravos. Let me actually link this Arbiter Finance into the chat. So I've used this before, and I have talked about this before, and people have speculated that there might be a drop. And actually, I'm going to be just sending 0.017, and I'm going to send it to the Arbiter. I don't really have any. It's just going to be cheaper. So if you're going to be wanting to bridge, also, like I talked about in the beginning, that where was the Arbitrum bridge site? So one of the good things about it here, you don't need to actually move money from Ethereum, so you can just move it from Polygon, Arbitrum, or Optimism. So you don't have to worry about this issue of paying a lot of fees to bridge out the money, especially if the gas fees are high. And now we have the transactions going through. Let's actually go through a bit of a. So we have deployment 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we are going to be totaling out at 12 transactions for today. And, well, 20 should be your goal, and you should be getting it through. Well, we don't know if the cutoff date is going to be tomorrow, so I guess you could do 20 today. But you just want to do more on a weekly basis, just to kind of recap all these other things. Do maybe transactions on testnet. Use different applications, because we don't know if there's going to be many which are going to be having that criteria of using shit. And now we're going to be doing a sign here. So it's going to be approval. So actually we're going to be amounting in 13 transactions. So if you have done all the steps that we have done on the stream and more, you should be at 13 transactions right now. And 20 should be a good minimum to aim for. And you can do this by just swapping, and obviously we talked about a bit of that trading volume, so you have the opportunity to, just in some decks you have a trading volume over 1,000, should be like a good indicator for something, but there can be many reasons. And obviously there's the website where there's a lot more of these Starknet based dApps which you can find, and you should definitely interact with many as possible, and so just to build out that criteria. But do not send transactions between your own accounts, because that might get flagged by people who review shit. But hey, hopefully you found something insightful here on today's stream, and you can find everything important, obviously, with the timestamps down below. I don't really much have else to add here. We're probably going to be doing another analysis for another chain, maybe layer 0. But yeah, thanks for watching. We'll be seeing you in the next video. Cheers.